Look, there really isn't a lot I could say about Mario Kart World that's going to excite you one way or another.
Well, I mean, in your defense, it's not your job to excite me about Mario Kart. It's Nintendo's job to excite me about Mario Kart. The fact that you think it is your job to excite me about Mario Kart is a little strange, but then again, your channel is called Nintendo Prime. I know I'm getting to this news a little late, and getting to this video a little late, got sent to me by a lot of people, and I just kept getting distracted and kept getting a little bit bored about talking about the Switch 2 and all the pricing nonsense. And I also just thought Nintendo Prime would backtrack at least a little bit after tweeting things like this and getting completely dragged across the internet for it. And in case Nintendo Prime's voice sounds familiar to some of you who've been watching me for a while, yes, I have made a video about him before, and it was this one from several years ago, but when he was legitimately throwing a fit that Super Mario 3D All-Stars wasn't getting perfect reviews. That's not an exaggeration. You can go watch the video. He made an entire video whining about the fact that it didn't get perfect reviews because he was completely incapable, and apparently still is completely incapable, of separating consumer practices and business practices with the actual game. He couldn't before, and seemingly still cannot, wrap his head around the fact that he can enjoy a game while still criticizing the price, and while still criticizing the way the game is being distributed.
Because the bottom line is, everywhere I've gone since April 2nd, it's just a bunch of drop the price, Mario Kart World's not worth $80, and look, now we just had a dedicated Mario Kart World Direct that I absolutely adored and thought was really, really good.
Yeah, the reason why you're seeing a lot of people say drop the price, and he's kind of rapid firing in the intro here. We'll slow things down, get a little more intricate, a little more in-depth as things go along. But if anything, isn't this just kind of proving you're the odd man out? The fact that everywhere you go is just people saying the same criticisms, isn't that an indication that these criticisms have weight behind them? Shouldn't this be some, cause for pause in you? If everyone is saying drop the price, maybe that means the price is a bit high. No? Not all of us are Nintendo YouTubers. Not everyone's in your specific camp, and you need to be able to recognize that.
Maybe not the greatest direct ever, of course. I think it's very hard to make that claim, because I think about 5 minutes of the direct out of 15 was kind of wasted.
I love how hesitant you are to criticize Nintendo in the way that everyone is criticizing them, but you will criticize the fact that 5 minutes out of the 15 minutes of the Mario Kart Direct, those 5 minutes could have been better, Nintendo. Step up your game. We're not going to talk about the fact that everything's overpriced. We're not going to talk about Nintendo gouging their prices and overcharging you for everything. We're going to actively defend Nintendo from those criticisms for the entirety of this video. But don't say I don't criticize Nintendo, because 5 minutes of that Mario Kart Direct, you got to do better, Nintendo.
But that being said, I actually really enjoy everything happening with Mario Kart World. And that sucks about being this person that enjoys this is I can't talk about it without being chastised, without being called a shill, without saying that I'm justifying $80 for all video games.
Well, when you justify Nintendo doing $80 video games, yes, you are justifying everyone else doing it. And if you can't recognize that, then I just don't know what to tell you. Nintendo's games don't have particularly high technical specs. They don't have particularly large amounts of content a lot of the time, at least not large from the ground up rebuilt content. A lot of their stuff is recycled, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with, cutting costs where you can. I'm the same guy that sucks off Batman Arkham City at every opportunity, and that game is like 80% recycled assets. But they also didn't sell it for $80. You see the difference there? When you justify Nintendo doing $80 games, you, yes, are justifying everyone doing $80 games. And I find it very ironic that this is a point that you're taking with your critics when this was you. When Sony raised their prices to $70. This was you. And now that Nintendo has one-upped them for $80, you have nothing but defenses. And then, just like clockwork, just a month later, Microsoft announces $80 games. And if you think the trend stops there, you are a fool. So yes, you are encouraging $80 games when you defend one company doing it. because that one, there's nothing unique about that one company as far as game development goes, especially not in Nintendo's case. Every argument that you make that makes $80 okay when Nintendo does it, any other developer, any other publisher can make those arguments for themselves. So yes, you are defending $80 games across the board when you defend Nintendo's $80 games. And if you really are this sensitive to critics on the internet, I question why you're still on the internet. Like, if you can't handle your opinions being criticized, don't share them on a large platform. If you don't want to get hit by a car, you don't step into traffic.
And it's kind of weird because I've actually avoided talking about this price stuff in general at the channel.
You have a stain on your shirt and it's really bothering me. Like, I can't unnotice it. Get some fucking OxyClean. Get that tough stain out.
We've had some light conversations on our podcast, but it's a very touchy subject because
it's really not a touchy subject unless you're defending the corporations. That's what's funny about this. Like, the $80 games thing, it's a touchy subject. Is it? I don't think it's touchy at all because I'm on the right side of this. And it really is that simple. Corporations jacking up the prices for no reason other than greed. It's because of tariffs. Nintendo literally said it's not because of tariffs. So, like, don't even try to do Nintendo's dirty work for them because they already fucked over your defense of them. Also, tariffs will not impact digital goods, so why are digital goods getting price increases? Also, if tariffs are to blame for everything, why are the prices going up in places where there are no tariffs? You see what I mean? This is not a touchy subject. It's a very straightforward subject. It's a bunch of corporations who want to charge you more for less. They always have wanted to charge you more for less, and now they see an opportunity to charge you more for less. That's all this is. I find it so funny that people are like, when like a corporation raises prices and they're like, it's greed. Corporation raises prices, it's greed. Corporation raises prices and also tariffs exist. Well, hang on. This one might not be their fault. Like come on.
In the end, we're talking about money. And we don't all have unlimited amounts of it. And we all have to decide for ourselves what the value of a dollar is.
No, a dollar has objective value. Like, I get the point you're making. That was just a really stupid way of wording it. A dollar has objective value.
And what is valuable to us on an individual level.
You should have just started there. You should have cut the last sentence. The last sentence made no sense.
And while it could be absolutely a valid argument to say no video game is worth $80.
No video game is worth $80. There, I said it. None of them are worth $80. It's not me saying you can't pay $80 for one if you want to, but are they worth $80 objectively in terms of what goes into them, what kind of content goes into them, what kind of work goes into them, what you will get out of it? Are video games objectively worth $80? No, they are not. They may be subjectively worth $80 to you, and that's fine. But objectively, no, they are not worth $80. And if they are not objectively worth $80, they are only subjectively worth $80. Maybe they shouldn't be charging $80. Just a wild thought there.
I also feel that that's all about the price you put on your own entertainment.
But I'm not the one putting the price on the entertainment. If I'm the one putting the price on the entertainment, what are we doing here?
Look, Nintendo's a multi-billion-dollar company. They're not going to go out of business if they price this game at $60. Heck, they wouldn't have gone out of business if they priced the Nintendo Switch 2 at $300. They could have literally taken a loss and made that all back on software sales of $60, $70, $50 games and been just fine.
So you agree that this is a problem with pricing and consumer respect. So you're on the same page as everyone in this situation, and yet you're still defending Nintendo despite agreeing with the reasons why you have critics. Do I have that right? People criticize your opinions because XYZ reason. You agree with XYZ reason, but still Nintendo is okay. Still it's okay that they're doing this. I wonder why you get called a shill. Also, just to get rid of this right away, just to get rid of this point, because you kind of skipped over this, and I understand why you skipped over this. It's not your ultimate argument, but I do kind of want to piggyback off of this because it's something that a lot of people seem to be overlooking when it comes to price increases on games and whatnot. If you increase the price of a game or a service or anything, if you increase the price on your product, less people are going to buy it because there's just less people willing to pay that much for it, but you're going to make more money off of each one because you haven't actually increased the amount of money going into production. And also, production costs should be irrelevant in this situation because that's not the consumer's fault. If you're spending more than ever on production to the point that you have to do a rather serious increase of price on the consumer, that's not a good reason to increase the price on the consumer. Because the consumer is not the one that set your budget. You were. We as consumers have established a willingness to pay X amount of dollars for something. And if you are producing that kind of something, then you should keep it at that price or lower in order to keep us on your good side and be willing to give you money, especially when your competitors and other people in your field are charging less than you. Does this make sense? Am I getting too fucking high concept with basic economics and the mere concept of respecting your consumers? But anyways, you have a product here. We'll just call it a game. Just for the sake of keeping things simple, you're selling a game. You were selling the game for $60. You increased the price to $70. People were like, I don't like that. You increased the price again to $80, and now people are going to not buy your games as in as big of numbers as they were before. But you will be making more money off of people who do buy your games. That may sound like a good idea to you, but is this a path for long-term success? The answer is no, as evidenced by other companies who have already started doing this. You are earning more money per sale, but you are making less sales, which means you have less customers, which means you have less wiggle room to make mistakes in the future. We already see this with Sony. Sony's doing perfectly fine with the PlayStation. I'm not trying to say, Sony's dead, Sony's dying. But what is happening with Sony is very interesting. Sony increased their prices, $70 games. They increased the price of PSN. They increased the price of their PlayStation 5 Pro. Sony has become a very expensive console platform. And yet, Sony also openly talks about how the console market is stagnant. Isn't that interesting? They're charging more than ever. They're presumably making more than ever. And yet, where's the growth? It's not there. Any major player in the console industry will tell you that the console industry is stagnant, even though they're charging more and presumably should be making more money. Interesting stuff, right? So maybe you can deal with the fact that you aren't making as much money as humanly fucking possible off of each individual sale and just respect your consumers and keep them coming back to you. Make less money per consumer, but more transactions per consumer. That's how this industry operated for the longest fucking time, and no one had a problem with it until now. Just a thought. I kind of forget where I was going with this. I super forget where I was going with this. I'll just let you continue then.
They would make less money and they would be less successful, but they would also be in a good place. Now,
again, would they be less successful if they're making less money per sale? Because they would be making less sales. It's very naive to just say, Nintendo would be less successful if they charge less for games. And by charge less for games, what you mean is charge the same amount they have been charging. You did. So what are you saying about Nintendo now or Nintendo a year or two ago? They would be less successful if they did this. Well, they've been doing this and it's been fine.
Would making less money and less successful lead to industry layoffs like everyone else has had to come in their way?
Are other companies laying people off because they're not selling enough games? Are other companies laying people off because they overhired over the 2020 period? Are other companies laying people off because they are not making good enough products at a fair enough price? To jump from not charging $80 to layoffs, I can buddy boy, you're being a little too transparent with the Nintendo shillery here. Again, you opened this video being like, I can't go anywhere without being called a Nintendo shill. Anyways, here's the most Nintendo shilly opinions you'll ever hear.
Except for Nintendo, maybe or maybe not. It's hard to really know. I think it's okay for corporate entities to not have all of our money.
It's okay for corporations to not have all of our money. Corporations don't need all of our money. Coming from the guy who absolutely refuses, not even just refuses to criticize, but openly whines about the fact that there is criticism of Nintendo. Really?
Right. I totally get that. And that is a very pro-consumer thing.
So it's probably a foreign concept to you.
Things should be cheaper for the consumer. Companies don't need to be trillion-dollar companies like Apple and all of that, right? I mean, the irony of me saying that is I'm rocking an iPhone 16 Pro Max. So
the fact that you have an iPhone is completely irrelevant to this conversation.
I get it. I'm not going to sit here and defend Nintendo
But you're doing that.
because it's not my job to sell Mario Kart for them.
But you're called Nintendo Prime, and you make videos like this, and you've made it your job to sell Nintendo for them. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing like it objectively wrong with the fact you've chosen to do that. It's just you can't then turn around and be like, well, how did this happen to me? Like you chose this.
That's their job. And whether or not they have done a good job convincing people to buy Mario Kart World is going to come down to the sales in the end. It's going to come down to your wallets and if you guys decide to spend the money.
Okay, so it's their job to sell it, not your job to sell it. It comes down to consumers, whether or not they want to do it, whether or not they want to buy it. So why are you making this video exactly?
But what really sucks right now is we're on the precipice of a brand new generation of Nintendo that by all means seems really exciting. If you take the Mario Kart $80 controversy and you set that to the side, you take that and you put it over here, what you're left with is actually a lot of really great things happening.
Yes, and that's part of the reason why people are criticizing it so loudly. The Switch 2 has a ton of potential. There's a ton going on. But Nintendo is seemingly uninterested in making those cool things more accessible to people. They're seemingly more interested in price gouging those cool things the way they price gouge everything. This isn't new behavior for Nintendo. This could have been a turning page. This could have been an opportunity for them to do something more pro-consumer. And instead, they ran the opposite direction while also holding cool things hostage. That's what makes this such a problem.
You're left with things like Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah, I don't see the hype for Donkey Kong Bonanza, actually. Like, I see a lot of people acting like Donkey Kong Bonanza is gonna be, like, the next fucking Breath of the Wild. Like, they're hyping up, like, the biggest, greatest, like, console-exclusive Nintendo game ever. And I'm just like, yeah, that looks like Donkey Kong. Like, am I missing something? I like Donkey Kong games. This just looks like another Donkey Kong game.
People seemed legitimately excited about this, and there's buzz coming out of the Switch 2 experiences that this has the potential to at least be in the conversation for Game of the Year.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it looks fun, but it just looks like a Donkey Kong game. Where are we getting Game of the Year contender from?
I don't know if it's going to end up that good and if the whole game's experience actually holds up, but people seem genuinely excited about it, and no one seems to care that it's $70.
It's not that we don't care that it's $70. Everyone cares when games are $70. That's more expensive than they used to be. It's not being talked about as much because there's a game right next to it that's fucking $80, and that's how discourse works.
Maybe that's because it's been normalized for a long time. I don't know, but people seem really, really excited about it. It also helps we haven't had a 3D Donkey Kong game since man.
Since man. There hasn't been a 3D Donkey Kong game since man. But also, funny that you bring up that word normalize for $70 games, coming from the same guy that says, why are people criticizing me? Why are people saying that when I defend $80 Nintendo games, I'm defending $80 games everywhere? Why do people say that? Also, $70 games have been normalized. Oh boy, I wonder how that happened.
The N64, 1999. Like 26 years. It's been a long time. So people seem genuinely excited about that. People are glowing about the haptic feedbacks and the mouse controls.
Are they? The main thing I got from the mouse controls was people being like, what the fuck is that for? The fuck they doing over there?
On things like Drag and Drive, even though not everyone really likes that experience, they do like the feel of the controls and how it works in that game. And we're actually hearing a lot about people liking the haptic feedback and mouse controls in a traditional shooting game like Metroid Prime 4. So people seem genuinely excited about the platform, the third-party games, even if they're not running at the greatest like frame rates and stuff right now, they're still running fairly decent, especially compared to similar hardware such as a Steam Deck. And in the end, everything seems to be pointing up for Nintendo.
Yes, again, Nintendo has some cool ideas. They have some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff in this upcoming generation of ideas. If only those ideas were easier for you to obtain.
Except for this big anchor around their necks that their best-selling franchise of all time has a brand new mainline game coming for the first time in 11 years on Nintendo Switch 2 at launch, and it's probably going to end up being the best-selling game on Nintendo Switch 2.
Yes, and ask yourself, is that good or bad for normalization of $80 games? Is it good or bad that the $80 game is probably going to be the best-selling game on the Switch too? Does that set a good example or bad example for the rest of the industry? You don't care about the rest of the industry, though. Why am I asking you that? You only care about Nintendo. You've made that clear. It's unacceptable and bad when other companies do it. It's excusable. We can explain it away when Nintendo does it. Gosh, why do people call me a shill? It makes no sense to me.
But people can't get over that $80 price tag.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This fucking attitude that you have is so childish. And how old are you? Like, you look like you're in your late 40s. I'm sorry if you're not, you look like you are. But this attitude is so fucking childish and short-sighted. Why do people say that I'm defending $80 games? I'm just defending Nintendo, but they can't get over that price tag. People can't get over the $80 price tag. Why do people call me a Nintendo shill? It's really just up to you what you think these things are worth. You know, I'm not here to defend corporations. Corporations don't need all this money, but you can't get over that price tag. You're fucking pathetic.
I'm not here to tell you that $80 is too much. I'm not here to tell you that $80 is worth it.
Yeah, but you clearly have an issue with people who criticize it. So yes, you are here to tell us one way or the other on $80. You are here for that. You just don't have the balls to say it.
I can only talk for myself, and I'm actually glowing about this game.
Oh, you're glowing. I'm not here to tell you one way or the other, but I'm glowing about it. I'm not here to tell you one way or the other. Corporations don't need all of our money, but people just can't get over that price tag that I'm glowing about. Oh my lord. Grow a spine. Pick a side. This fence sitting is so obnoxious.
If you had told me, let's say 3 months ago, that Mario Kart World was not just a launch game for Nintendo Switch, but it would be an open world collectathon, I would have said you're crazy.
What? Nintendo making an open world collectathon game? I would have said you were crazy. Oh man, so out of character for Nintendo to make an open world collectathon game. Who would have thunk that?
That sounds like something out of a dream world. That sounds like I am, on the 4chans and just pulling the random, rumors out of a hat of pipe dreaming. And you know what? That's what it is. We have hundreds of missions announced today.
Yeah, am I the only one who just doesn't care? Like, am I the only one who is actively not excited for this new Mario Kart World game because of the open world collectathonness? If I want an open world collectathon, I'll go to 5 million other places, and none of those places are called fucking Mario Kart.
Hundreds! Well, just think about that. You have the coins to collect, right? We have those question block panels to run over and unlock new areas and try new things. And that's all in that open world experience. That's before we even get to the multiplayer and the community features. And
like, dude, if you care so much about open world collectathons, just play fucking Marvel Superheroes. Play fucking Lego Marvel Superheroes. This one. This game fucking slaps. This game slaps your dad 6 times and then puts the game in the game tray, and then you start the game. It slaps your dad 6 times before you even open the game. This game's awesome. If you want an open world collectathon game, play a fucking Lego game, you moron. Sorry. I don't know why I got so aggressive about that.
Basically, this is looking like the Mario Kart of my dreams.
The Mario Kart of your dreams is a game that's nothing like Mario Kart? Okay. I guess you lucked out and no one else did.
Sans the fact I wouldn't mind, I guess, if they crossed over with Nintendo IP. Maybe that happens with DLC. I know they...
Oh, trust me, Nintendo is saving the good stuff for DLC. You've enabled them to do so. Why wouldn't they do that? You said it yourself. This is the first Mario Kart game in like 11 years. They've been milking Mario Kart 8 for 11 years now. Why would they give you all the good stuff up front?
First dabbled with it with the DLC on Wii U for Mario Kart 8. And I would like to see them maybe dabble in that again for DLC for this game, but can't even talk about that because we start talking about DLC, you're still going to start talking about them charging even more money. Is that DLC going to be $20?
Yes, and that's a problem. They're charging you $80 for the game. They're charging you out the butthole for the system. They're charging you out the butthole to play the game online on the system. Yes, them asking you for even more money is a problem. Are you 6?
It's going to be $25. Will it be $40 because the base game is $80? And I know there's an argument about the $80 thing that, well, yeah, a majority of people at launch probably won't be paying $80 for Mario Kart World.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If I pay more than the base price for a game up front, I never do that. But if I did do that, I would expect more than the base game. If other companies are charging $60, $70, I'm a PC player, so most new games here I can get for far less than $70. But let's just say $70. Base game price is $70. When they announced this game, Microsoft had not done the $80 announcement yet. So at the time that they announced this game for $80 when the base price of the industry was $70. I expect more than the base game. Yes, I expect post-launch support to be included in that extra price, because that's what you're selling me on. The base game is a base game. You're charging me more than the base game. I expect more than the base game. So if you charge me more for the base game and then you try to charge me more for DLC on top of that, I'm gonna throw a shoe at your head and tell you to fuck yourself.
Because there is a bundle, and it looks like the majority of units available in the US will be that bundle, which would knock the game down to $50. But
no, oh my god, I hate when people do this. They're actually charging you $50 because there's the bundle with the console. Oh, really? Really? So actually it's $50. Really? I can get this game by itself for $50? Oh no, you have to buy the system with it. Okay, so it's not $50.
Obviously, it's a limited time bundle. It only runs through fall.
Yeah, why? What is it with Nintendo and limited bundles? It's so stupid. Why does Nintendo only want to be pro-consumer for a limited time? I hate when they do this.
That doesn't change the MSRP on the eShop. That doesn't change the MSRP at retail of $80. So
I just want to hear you say $80 is excessive for MSRP. I just want to hear you say that one time.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and make that $50 argument. I'm just going to note that I'm not paying $80 for Mario Kart World.
Right. No, you're paying like $500 because you're buying it with the system. You moron.
I'm paying $500 for the system and the game. And I obviously am going to find that worth it.
Well, I would hope you're going to find it worth it. You've already decided it is. I'm making this video in May. You made this video of a couple weeks before I make this video. You've already decided that it's worth it. Of course you're going to think it's worth it.
And I really, really enjoy Mario Kart. This game looks like everything I always wanted Mario Kart to be.
Mario Kart plus thing that's not Mario Kart. It's what I've always wanted.
So I knew no matter what happened at the Direct today, we were going to be just avalanched with negative videos. Negative videos, negative videos, negative videos. There's no shortage of negative videos about Nintendo Switch 2 out there.
And I wonder why that is. I wonder if maybe Nintendo did something to make people have a negative opinion of them. I wonder if that's a thing that happened. Look, I don't know if I can get much longer into this video. I don't know if I can keep doing this. Believe it or not, that we're only a third of the way into his video. Like, look at this time bar. We're a third of the way in. I'm gonna call it there because I'm gonna start shitting myself if you keep doing this. So I'm gonna. Oh my goodness. Look, I'm gonna do the Doofus Club now, and I feel my brain melting. I feel my brain falling apart right now. So let's just do the Doofus Club and move on with our lives. Joe's Uranium Collection from Yugoslavia, Bender Fondue, and Omega Hero Culture. My favorite line from Pulp Fiction is, English motherfucker, do you speak it? How did you guys do that? Hang on. How the fuck did you guys do that? Tom from Spokane, Dial Love, Kyle Ward, 7897, Nakake, and Non-Vola. Hey, it's Maddie. Sorry, I can't get, when you guys do shit like this, it blows my mind. I don't know how you coordinate this. Where was I? Hey, it's Maddie, Master Killer, fuck me, Jamba Dom Bob, fuck you, Joey Taylor, The Return of the King, George from Seattle, partial mean 8th, Wild Gamer 2001, Nick, Molt Theme, Volks Up, The Cloaked, Onyx, JJ Dusty, Hail Nuva Pug, Cod Stop It, Codman 4372WX, Joe, it's the Gamer 127YT, not 127WT, get it memorized, Oblivion Gamer, Oblivion Remastered Game of the Year, Joe lied to me, he never joined voice chat, Celerot, Gold Pyrac, Zombie Fan, All Around the One, Penguin Piss, Doug, Nig, Z Blast 1314, Snake Eyes 327, Devastator 2000, Edge Knight 1789, Joe, please let us touch tip, you sexy man, MAMK2396E, I'm still in the moat, Joe, please get help, Hentai, Xbox and Gamma, Elite Wolf, Fire Hazard 105, Epion 504, Klepto Penguin, Banshee, GWSS, Rast the Wolf, Evan Co, OK Toodles, Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Relays, Gaming, All Games Video, Japanese name that's like a CSGO Rust crate thing, Max Killer, V2 Gaming, Biscuit 1101, Todd Howard is our Lord and Savior, Horizon Forbidden West Remastered, Pub Rock for the Rat King, Jessica Shepard, Riki Spiral, Riki Tabby, Muskie, if you convert Mario Kart World physical unique, it's over $99. Okay, Karumi the Steel Angel, my hipster doofus, Sergeant Jason Bond, Baron von Vaderham, Cyrus, Xbox, raised the prices, now I can't afford a motorcycle, True Text 940. Joe, answer me this question, alright, what is your... The first doofus, Creed Warrior 23, Maxishev, Marathon is a really sneaky turd, isn't it? Chad, Totally Insane, Vendetta Audrey, Black Cobra, leader of the Doomslayer cult, Knight of Cypher, ML04, Iron 6 copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray. Oh no, it's Poopsie, Wolf of Midnight, Sig Rider, Pig Venus, Kev Dog 1992, Sequence Studios, Film McCracken, Ohm Gaming, Tariq Brown, Thornscape, Magnex, Severin Evans, Mr. Spine 03, it's Kylie Freaking Y, Mixer, Pow Pow, Why Trouble, Donnie Weston, Nick Donegan from Serbia, Steals Money from Joe from Seattle, Gob Gobson, Rogue Winter 919, Bobby Hinner, Grimsy, Polska Goo Rom, Hangman for Hire, Olden Eldon the Noble, Frost Crystal, Jimmy Chops, Biogenesis, Ian Action, Floppy Pingus 97, Mega Key, Kushka, the Scruffy Skull, Ghost, remember to tell Nintendo, lower your prices, JoJo 6, Vast Grove, Femtanga, Raptor Tim, The Amazing Blight Man, Blue Hook, Willie JJ Schnoll, Accent, Show Your Feet, Joe, Don't Be a Pussy, Jody Breeze, Smitty, Worker, Jaegerman Jansen, Max Lowell Massimo, McAdvertise Me, Diego Garcia, JJ Dusty, 8 Mike Hibbigans, I American Idiot, Rebel Blood 80, Antoine Horton, Oracle, Harmon Smith's Hairline, Oh No, It's Justin, Ranwood, 20 Wayne, Mechanical Resonance, Extreme Wolf 7, Joey Scoops, My Name is Mud, Joe Taku, My Chemical Joe Mance, Never Gonna Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down, Winky Face, Wanna Be Hobo, Jidge, Weston Bill, 310 Char, Rob Steve, Chicken Jockey Veg, The Groovy Banana, Curtin Allen's back, Wear a Maid Dress once you hit 20k, Joe. The video is over, get in the moat, you doofuses. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, oh my gosh. I think we've gone full Macintosh. Okay, toodles.